Thanks, Chrissy. Morning, everyone. Queensland Pacific Metals, what are we? A vertically integrated advanced manufacturer of essential battery chemicals. There's two pillars of our business. The first pillar of our business is the tech project, Townsville Energy Chemicals Hub. This project actually does the opposite of what Australian resources industry always gets criticised for. So, we get criticised for digging up our precious dirt, sending it overseas for all the value add to happen, whether it's in China, Japan, Korea, US, anywhere. What we actually do, we'll import high-grade nickel laterite ore from New Caledonia. We'll bring it into Townsville in a long-established supply chain, and we'll do all the advanced manufacturing in Australia. Primarily, we're here to produce nickel and cobalt for the battery sector. And this project is going to sell our offtake to General Motors, LG and POSCO. These are world-class customers, absolutely tier one. And what we're most proud about is that they're also shareholders of the company. So the Koreans came on board first a few years ago. They invested US 15 into the company, and they took 2/3 of our offtake for the first 7 years. And about this time last year, we brought General Motors on board. They came on in a $100 million equity commitment, of which about $25 million has already come into the company. And they will buy our nickel and cobalt for the life of the project. The other important facet of the tech project and why we've been able to attract this calibre of off-taker and shareholder is, our ESG credentials are literally off the charts. Our carbon output is actually negative 1 million tonnes every year. So when we'll be up and running, we will reduce the amount of carbon in the atmosphere by 1 million tonnes and simultaneously produce, essential metals for the EV sector. The other thing that's also unique about our flow sheet is we have absolutely zero waste. So, again, we as the mining industry, we get pillared for our tailings dams and those sorts of things. We actually extract all the valuable metals from our ore. So we don't also produce the nickel and cobalt, but we also produce hematite and we also produce magnesia and some other co-products. And we recycle 99% of the acid that we use in our process. And so what's left over is an inert residue, which is actually suitable for engineered landfill. And in Townsville, it's a flood-prone area. There's plenty of areas that need a bit of fill. So really unique, just absolutely no waste for this project. The second pillar of our business, as an advanced manufacturer, we need a big source of energy, and our chosen energy is gas. And recently, we established a company called QPM Energy, and that's just recently acquired a producing gas asset known as the Moorumba project. I'll talk more about it later, but effectively, this project will give us all the gas that we need to run the tech project, but most importantly, this is an unbelievable standalone business. It's absolutely transformational for the company. I'm pleased to say, we had our first revenue received in the door just a few weeks ago in the bank account. Nice to see revenue coming in from a customer as opposed to from shareholders and whatnot. And look, most of all, in 12 months' time, we're forecasting this thing to be generating EBITDA annualised of about $60 million a year. So we're really, really excited about this as a standalone business. Just quick bit of history about the company, and the management team's been really, we're proud of what we've achieved. Management and directors are all major shareholders of the company, so we feel the pain of the recent share price movements, but we believe we're in an unbelievable position to set the company up for growth and deliver shareholder value. So, we were listed late 2019, in a backdoor listing. And along the way, we feel that we've continually added value by delivering transformational transactions for the company. So as you can see, we brought on LG and POSCO. We've gone through our scoping study and our feasibility work and those sorts of things. We brought on General Motors as well, and then we've also completed the acquisition of the gas project. So, a constant steady stream of value-adding transactions that we've been able to pull off over time. Just quickly back onto the tech project. Quite simply, the ore comes into Townsville Port. We truck it about 40 kilometres south to our project site out in Lansdowne. This is an ideal location for advanced manufacturing and industrial activity. We're fully permitted, so everything is in place. And this area is well supported by infrastructure. So we've got a water pipeline, gas pipeline, ability to connect into the grid. Really, it has all the pillars of what you need for advanced manufacturing. You know, everyone always asks me, why don't we build this plant in New Caledonia? But quite simply, you haven't got the skilled labour, you haven't got the energy supply. You know, just sitting in Townsville, major industrial city, so much skilled labour and industrial services, you know, really is an ideal location for this project. About a year ago, we released the results of a feasibility study. We're looking to produce about 16,000 tonnes of nickel a year and 1,700 tonnes of cobalt at full production. Project will generate very, very strong earnings. You know, stage one, $500 million a year of EBITDA, and stage two, a simple doubling of that. Sorry, technology is here we go. No worries. So this is a big project, right? It's you know, we're not shying away from this. Nickel laterite projects aren't cheap to build. This is the capital of this project will be $2 billion. And, you know, first thing everyone asks is, how are you going to fund it? And, you know, we know as a management team what we're up against here and the challenges, but, you know, we're giving it the best damn shot we can. We've made significant progress on our debt. So we're up to $1.4 billion of indicative committed debt. You know, this is a project where nickel is essential for the EV sector, and government funding is right behind us. So from Australia, we've got NAIF and EFA sitting there for $500 million of indicative commitments. We've got Export Development Canada, who actually increased their commitment from $200 million to $400 million because after, you know, doing a bit of DD on the project and whatnot, they really loved what they saw. They loved our ESG credentials. They loved our customers and what we stand for. And we've got a lot of equipment coming out of Germany. So we've got the German banks, Euler Hermes and KfW, providing traditional export financing for the German equipment that's going to come out for this project. So, you know, the debt is progressing very nicely. We're targeting to have it in place, credit-approved term sheets by the middle of next year. And that leaves us with an equity plug, you know, and something that we need to solve as a company. General Motors, as part of their $100 million commitment, will deliver about $70 million when we get to final investment decision. We are a significant investment project in Queensland. We're the first company to receive this status, and we're working with the Queensland government on potential funding. Obviously, there's federal government funding, which we'll no doubt put our hands up for with the NRF and NAIF. And we've also got SMT, who's one of our ore suppliers out of New Caledonia. They participated in a recent capital raising as their initial investment, and they're looking to put in a more significant investment as we get to FID. So that's the first pillar of our business, the tech project. As you can see, we've done an absolutely significant amount of engineering work, and that's been undertaken by our lead engineers, Hatch. You know, to date, we've probably spent about $80 million on this. So this is, you know, we're really leaving no stone unturned technically to make sure that this project gets funded. So quickly, QPM Energy and the Moranbah Gas Project. The Moranbah Gas Project's located in the Bowen Basin of Australia. It is, you know, the premier coking coal region of Australia. Effectively, there's the North Queensland gas pipeline, which runs from the Bowen Basin straight past our eastern boundary. And we acquired the only commercial producing asset. This asset's been in production since 2004. It was owned by Arrow and AGL. And we managed to acquire the business. Financial close was about 5 weeks ago. It's going at about 10 petajoules per annum at the moment, so that actually makes us the 6th largest domestic gas producer on the ASX, and we've got a pathway for serious growth. It's got established customers, so 7 petajoules of that production goes to Dyno Nobel, subsidiary of Intertek Pivot, and their ammonium nitrate plant. The balance of that gas goes to Townsville Power Station, which is a 240 megawatt gas turbine in Townsville, and we actually control that power station and all the electricity that's produced by it. So I said at the start, this is a fantastic standalone business, and it all comes down to this ability to generate electricity, which will generate revenue. The pipeline itself, we've got it fully packed with gas at the moment, and it can actually run the power station for 30 hours continuously. So we talk about batteries. You know, we actually say this is the biggest battery on the east coast of Australia by way of power generation. What makes this project unique and what adds to our carbon credentials? These are all the coal mines in this region, and right now with their gas, you know, they can't really do much about it, but they need to degas ahead of mining for safety and whatnot. And these are some of the gassiest coal mines in the world. And what actually happens right now, in an underground coal mine, they need to degas before the longwall comes through, and that gas gets burnt off and flared straight into the atmosphere. You know, it's actually quite terrible, to be brutally honest. What we're actually coming and doing, we actually collect this waste gas. We have the only compression infrastructure in the region, and we've got control of capacity in the pipeline. Put that gas through the pipeline, send it either to our tech project ultimately, but in the interim, Townsville Power Station and other industrial customers in Townsville. So, you know, we're effectively taking waste and putting it to good use. And there's, you know, recently the safeguard mechanism reforms, which means that all these coal miners who are some of our major carbon polluters, they actually need to reduce their carbon emissions by 5% every year. And the only way, really, is to get their gas off-site, and we'll happily take it and put it to good use. It's just some pictures of the assets. You know, as I said, there's been over $1 billion spent on this project since 2004. So, unbelievable acquisition for us and a real game changer. Just look, this effectively shows the business model. A bit of gas goes to Incitec Pivot. Well, sorry, most of the gas goes to Incitec Pivot. The rest of our gas goes to Townsville Power Station. We'll be able to generate about 600,000 megawatts an hour. And this is guidance that we recently published, as I said, in 12 months' time, looking to do annualised EBITDA of about $60 million a year by increasing gas production and generating more electricity and gas sales. We're pretty proud of this. Since acquiring the asset, we've managed to increase gas production. This is actually the wrong slide, but come see me and I'll show you the slide. But effectively, in 5 weeks, we've increased production by 10%, and we've got a pathway to actually increase production even further. I'll just go back to my very first slide, which I didn't present, and where we sit. Company right now is market cap of $130 million. Our pro forma cash balance is about $60 million, leaving us with an enterprise value of $70 million. So we really feel that we're very attractively priced right now. Challenge anyone else to find a company that's, you know, forecasting to do EBITDA of $60 million a year in 12 months' time, trading at, you know, this sort of enterprise value. I'm around today till about 12, 1 o'clock before I've got to head back to Brisbane. But if you want to find out more about either of our projects, the company itself, come around, have a chat, ask some questions, and look forward to seeing you. Thanks, everyone.